We are not backing down. We are not backing down. Army of 24, welcome to college football's peek around the corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Ring that notification bell. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support. If you want to support this true, independent, national college football's rebel outpost for sickos like you, with a donation to help us keep the channel growing and keep the lights on, just hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I will get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. I get it. I get it. And anybody who loves the college football playoffs of 24 teams doesn't really love college football. I think, who had a guest on that said that? Was it Joe Klatt? Was it Josh Pate? I think it was Paul Feinbaum. I think it was Paul Feinbaum. A bigger playoff, you do not love college football. A bigger 24-team playoff, you don't love the regular season. Great. You're not a fan of the college football playoffs of 24 teams. Great, don't you see that only 9% of your brothers and sisters in the Big Ten want a college football playoffs at 24. Doesn't that embarrass you, Greg? Doesn't it make you look like a complete fool, a complete idiot, a complete Minnesota moron? No, I can do that by myself. Thank you very much. We are ahead of the curve here at college football's peak around the corner. I'm not buying any of these arguments. I respect the argument. I respect the people who are making the argument, but the argument itself, there would be less regular season games that would be meaningful. No, way more. 16 is not big enough. Last year should prove that to you. 16 teams is not big enough. You want the best 16 teams in the playoffs, right? Right? Because it's getting kind of where that 12th team, that 13th team, that 14th team, that 15th team could make a run towards the national championship. We saw it last year. Miami did not have control of their own destiny. And look what they did. They came an eyelash away from becoming the national champions. Notre Dame could have made a run. BYU could have made a run. I could mention other schools out there, other teams. But I don't want to get the PATC Einsteins all fired up at me this early in the show. No. So great. So now you're saying, Greg, you just said it. You got to get the best 16 teams because one of the best 16 teams can make a run and win it all. But to get the best 16, you got to scoop up 24. Because I'm sorry, PATC Einsteins, there's nobody smart enough out there that can tell me exactly who are the best 16 teams. And look, 24 is the perfect number. It is the perfect number. It has layered incentives all over the place. There's incentives. Everybody's going to want to win every game, just like we have it now, just like we had it in a 14 playoff, when most of the country was eliminated from the national title race after week 3 or 4. We want to go back to those days? No, of course. The question is 12, 16, or 24. And 24 gives you 16 home games on campus. The playoff at 24 gives you all different layers of incentive. We are going to be watching games. We are going to be keeping an eye on games that we've never kept an eye on before. Ooh, if that team wins, they can slide into that 15th seed, 14th seed. And why is that important? Because they have a first round home game on campus. You don't think the fans are going to want that 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 seed? We are going to have massive arguments over 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We're going to have massive arguments over 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to have massive arguments over 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. We're going to have more arguments. We're going to be throwing more elbows. There's going to be more drama. There's going to be more drama in November for more fan bases later in the season. And why can't anybody outside of the Army of 24, why can't any of you see this? Why? I know change is difficult. And we're going to look at it. The Athletic, Scott Docterman, did a survey. The Big Ten fans are against the playoff of 24. We know the SEC fans are against the playoff of 24. But you know who is for? Do you know who is for a playoff of 24? Do you know who has climbed on the bandwagon of Army of 24? It's the coaches. Breaking news this evening. The coaches have the association have jumped on board, and they are supporting the college football playoffs of 24. Now, the next comment that some of you are going to say, who cares, Greg? Who cares? Who cares if the coaches are? They're not the decision makers. They're not the athletic directors are not even the decision makers. It's the presidents. It's the commissioner. And let's be honest, it's the president and the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. But let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you a little story about what happened last year during the SEC meetings. But first of all, we've got a super chat from the Buckeye himself. Moen leads us off. $5 holler. $5 holler. Greg is so cold. Greg is so cold that he treats a walk in the freezer as a sauna. Moen, you're Greg the Cold super chat. It's not going to stop this momentum. It's not going to stop the momentum of Army of 24. It's not going to stop the momentum of me having over 60% of my picks against the spread correct in year 5. Yes, I said it. I'm going to be over 60%, Moen. Book that. Clip this tape. Over 60% against the spread. Book it, Moen. Book it. Thank you for the $5 holler. I very much appreciate it. Let me tell you a little story here. Let me tell you all a little story. Because some of you might be saying, Greg, it doesn't matter. Greg Sankey is a decision maker. Coming out of the advisory meetings of the winter of 2025, 24 into 25, the Big Ten thought they had a deal with the SEC. The 4-4-2-2-1-3 format. Remember that? A 16-team playoff. 13 of the 16 Southeastern Conference athletic directors were for the deal. And then they went to Florida. They went to Destin, Florida. And guess what happened? The coaches revolted. The head coaches revolted. It was chaos. And Sankey could not be for that 4-4-2-2-1-3. The coaches believed that would cap the SEC as 4 schools. I don't think they understood the math, but whatever. They went against it, and it was all shut down. Sankey had to come out in public and shut it all down. No 4-4-2-2-1-3 format. Okay? All right? But the coaches are going to come out in this May meeting in the Southeastern Conference, and most of them, or there's going to be very loud voices that are going to be for the 2014 playoffs. They're going to be for the 2014 playoffs. As we have reported to you yesterday, the day before, something is a-cooking between the Big Ten and the SEC. They're going to be talking, not formally, but they're going to be talking this month of May. The SEC wants to get a process going on which they can get some sort of minimum guarantees and meet some minimum benchmarks on the money that would come in at a 2014 playoff. And the Southeastern Conference wants to make sure that their conference is protected in the 2014 playoffs. The momentum is ours. The momentum is ours. First, they completely ignored us, the Army of 24. Then when we started chirping, they mocked us. They ridiculed us. They made fun of us. Then they got upset with us because we started gaining a little bit of traction. We were called pathetic, the Army of 24. The Army of 24 was called absurd. Reese Davis called the college football playoff of 24 teams absurd. Josh Pate called it pathetic. I call it absolutely beautiful. One man's junk is another man's art. 2014 playoffs is a beautiful thing. They're not even making fun of us anymore. They're not calling it absurd anymore. They're not calling it pathetic anymore. Now it's, you really do not love college football. If you for football of 24 teams, you really don't love it. You know what I love? You know what I love? I love the fact that the college football playoffs of 12 teams that was also mocked and ridiculed and made fun of versus the purity crowd of a playoff of 4 teams. I love the fact that the college football playoffs of 12 teams absolutely smashed the 4-team playoff crowd. They could not deny the fact that more regular season games became more important to more fan bases across the fruited plains more than ever before. It could not be denied through the ratings and the home games on campus. The home games on campus has been an absolute delight. It has been an absolute success, and it is coming big time in the college football playoffs of 24. And let me make this statement. For all the people that are hanging on to the college football playoff of 16, great. We can't have more than 16. Great. 16 is the number. Great. Can we make sure that everybody understands the following? The college football playoffs of 16 teams, it's not 1 versus 16. It's not 2 versus 15. It's not 3 versus 14. It's not 4 versus 13. It's not 5 versus 12. It's not 6 versus 11. It's not 7 versus 10. It's not 8 versus 9. That's not how it's drawn up. That is not the option. Not right now, it's not. Remember, the college football playoffs of 16 teams, the number 1 and the number 2 seed get a double bye. They get a double bye. How? Now, if you want to talk about absurdity, if you want to talk about pathetic, go ahead, put that up on the board, put that 16-team playoff format with a double bye, and put it over here versus the playoff of 24 teams, and we crush you every step of the way. That's why these surveys, 24 versus 16 versus 12, they're not telling you what this college football playoffs of 16 actually looks like. The one that Greg Sankey right now is supporting. A double bye for the top 2 seeds. In other words, the top 2 seeds don't even have a home game on campus. They still will never have a home game on campus. And again, I love the playoff of 12 teams. I was so excited when it was announced. I was absolutely thrilled beyond words because I believed what was going to happen next, that more games in the regular season were going to matter to more fan bases across the country later in the season. Is exactly what happened. It did not hurt the rivalry games at all. It did not hurt it at all. When the Buckeyes won the national championship and they lost to Michigan that year, it still hurt the Buckeyes' hearts that they lost to Michigan. But they went on and won the national championship. It did not hurt the rivalries. A playoff of 24 teams is not going to hurt the rivalries. In fact, more going to be even more heated because they're going to be those rivalry games. More of them every single year are going to impact the college football playoff race. I love the playoff of 12 teams, but it's obsolete. It was created in a world that no longer exists. I have no problems, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problems with a 9-3 team making the playoffs. I've got no problems having an 8-4 team make the playoffs. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. How could you say that, Greg? Very easily. Let me repeat it. I've got no problems with a 9-3, 8-4 team making the playoffs. The Iowa Hawkeyes were 8-4 last year, and they gave Oregon and Indiana everything they could handle. This is a different world. We've got more turnovers on these rosters than ever before. The top talent, the 5 stars and the top half of the 4 stars are more evenly spread out than ever before. So it takes a little bit longer in the season to get it going, right? To get it going. And I want non-conference games to be as good as they possibly can, and a 24-team playoff helps secure that more than the other formats. The playoff of 12 teams does not have the top 4 teams get a home game in the first round. But yet 5, 6, 7, and 8 do. Seeds 5, 6, 7, and 8 do. Now, again, we all understand why that is. Because the New Year's 6, they get the quarterfinals, semifinals. But that is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. The top 4 teams do not get a home game on campus when the home games on campus have been absolutely brilliant to the environment, to the local economy of where it's at, the exposure, the student athletes, the students on campus. Just the way the game is played out on your TV, on your iPhone, on your iPad. That home game on campus has been an absolute success. So the 12-team playoff is absolutely obsolete. Now, is the 16-team playoff obsolete? No, but it will be. And it doesn't work as good as the 24-team playoffs. You've got 3 layers of incentives in the 24-team playoffs. You've got the incentive to end up seed 1 through 8. So you get a first round bye, second round home game. You have another incentive. If you can't get through 1 through 8, 9 through 16, you get a first round home game on campus. Those slots through 9 through 16 are going to be so valuable to your university, your athletic department, your community, your bars and hotels and your students, and at your alumni. Slots 9 through 16 are going to be vital to get. And then if you can't make that, 17 through 24, you squeeze into the playoffs. You squeeze into the playoffs and you got to go on the road on the first round. And then 25, 26, 27, 28, you did not quite make it in. Please, I beg the maroon and gold God in the sky to have this playoff of 24 happen at least 1 year. 1 year. 1 year before I say goodbye to this blue planet. 1 year before you Einstein shut it down for whatever stupid reason. one time. And I think everyone's going to see the magic of the college football playoffs of 24. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. During this season, in 2026, we're sitting here with the college football playoff of 12 teams. Pretend like we have the college football playoffs of 24 teams. Pretend that we have it. And then take a look at the games. Take a look at the games. Take a look at that 19th seed, that 19th ranked team versus that 27th, the third team getting extra votes, or the second team getting extra votes in the top 25. That second week in November game, suddenly that game means so much. You can have a slow start and a cruising, crushing finish, and you can make the playoffs and you can make a run at the national championship. Look, we're not backing down. We're not backing down. I don't care how many. We're going to show a survey. We're going to show another survey where we're stuck at 9%. We're stuck at 9%. You can show me 100 surveys that has the Army of 24 at 9%. I don't give a damn. We used to be at 3%. Now we're at 9%. And now we got the coaches. We got the coaches in our back pocket. And we got more and more of the athletic directors in the SEC in our back pocket. Danny White is now the maverick of the University of Tennessee. He's on board. No. We've got the Big Ten. We've got a growing consensus in the SEC. And once this happens, and once more fans experience the rush of a race to the playoffs, 1 through 8, 9 through 16, 17, 24, and you get left out at 25 and higher, once people experience that, they're not want to go back to the archaic horse and buggy of a 12-team playoffs, of an 8-team playoffs, of a 4-team playoffs. There ain't going to be no double bye. There ain't going to be no double bye. You got to earn it on the field. You've got to earn it on the field. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming on in. We've got a lot to get to, and I've already rattled on for almost 30 minutes. Tonight is the Nebraska Cornhuskers spotlight. We're putting the PATC spotlight, the bright spotlight, right on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I predicted Nebraska to go 8-4 last year. Greg the Cooler was wrong. I predicted Nebraska to go 8-4 2 years ago. Greg the Cooler was wrong. But again, Greg the Cooler's gone. No longer welcome into the studio. It is Greg the Gold. And this year, I don't believe the Nebraska Cornhuskers are making a bowl game. I don't believe Nebraska is going to be making a bowl game. They've got a very tough schedule. They lost a very good quarterback. They lost a very good running back. I don't see 6 wins. I don't see 7 wins. I don't see 8 wins. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. And then we're going to go over this survey. This survey from The Athletic. We'll take a minute on that. And then we're going to talk about the Ross Dellinger article. The coaches are on board. They are supporting the college football playoffs of 24 teams. We've got Bill G, the incredible, edible Oklahoma State Cowboy. Bill G, 5 gifted memberships. Artisto, that CFP guy. B.R. Landknowles. Tyler Evans and Big Adam Slim were all gifted a membership by the incredible generosity of Bill G. Once again, all of you are officially knighted. Officially knighted Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Bill G. Thank you so very much. When you get an opportunity, Please say thank you to Bill G for his generosity. And all of you can go into our library of episodes. Watch all the episodes. Cloak and Dagger, Early P Cloak and Dagger, members only episodes. Thank you, Bill G. Very much appreciated, sir. Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma State Cowboy. And we've got Helmer Hennison. Helmer Hennison. Bam! Win your conference to get into the playoffs. Okay? All right. That's what Helmer Henderson wants. Now, I would argue that that would devalue the regular season for so many people out there. Again, the world has changed. There's NIL money, right? There's RevShare money, right? There's more money being deposited in the banking accounts of the student athletes, and that's how it should be, right? You've got all this investment going into the pot. Student athletes are getting paid money, right? More and more media money, right? More and more media companies are getting involved. Now Amazon is in the space, right? And you're going to have a college football playoffs of 4 and 12 teams and 6. There's too much investment. There's too much at stake. People want more people to enjoy this. They want more people to think they are successful during the season. There's still a spot for bowl games. But the importance of bowl games, because of the world that we live in, has dropped significantly. Consider the first round bowl games if you want. If you do not like the 2014 playoffs, if you like the 16 and 12, take your family out that first weekend. Take them out to a party, take them out to dinner, take them out to a vacation, a 3-day vacation, and come back for the second round. But I'm going to be watching that first round. I'm going to be watching that first round. I'm going to be watching that 9th seed versus the 24. 10 versus the 23, 11 versus the 22. We're going to be doing watch parties on those games. There's going to be excitement on campus, football games, playoffs, weather, winter, rain, sleet, sunshine for you people in the Southeastern Conference in Southern California. Thank you, Helmer Henderson. Thank you for the $2 holler. Very much appreciated. And we've got MBM, Oklahoma State Cowboy. Oklahoma State Cowboy. Real men won a 32-team college football playoffs. Okay, then I'm not a real man. I'm not a real man. See, I don't think we need that. Look, I don't want to expand it just to expand it. I want to expand it because, again, I think the top 16 teams in this new world can win the national championship. Because of the portal, because of the NIL, because, I don't think I think if we go smaller than 16, I think we're going to be eliminating teams that truly have a chance to win it all. I think we did that last year. We almost did it to Miami. I think Notre Dame could have made a run. I think BYU could have made a run. And the reason why I'm not for college football playoffs of 16 is because I don't think we'd be capturing the top 16. Go to 24, and we're going to be capturing all the teams that can make a run. Plus, you've got storylines, you got representation, you got more access, you got more fan bases, you got more money, you got more media companies involved. So I don't want to go to 32 because I don't think we need to go to 32. I do want to go to 24 because I think we need to go to 24. All right. The reason why I'm getting intense, old dad, thank you, MBM. I appreciate the $2 holla. Whoa, Greg is getting intense. Take it easy, big fella. The reason why I'm getting intense, old dad, because this month we got to close this out. This is the month that the SEC is going to have a meeting in the last part of May. And they're going to be talking about the college football playoffs of 24. They're going to be talking about their silo. And we know there's going to be discussions going on between the Big Ten and the SEC. We know that there's going to be June meetings, formal meetings, and it's going to bring everybody into those meetings, including Big 12, ACC, and G6 representatives. This is the time, this is the closeout period. May, the month of May, close this out. Let's get it done. MBM, appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, I want to make sure I got caught up on the super chats. Thank you, MBM, Hemmer Hennison, Bill G, and Moen After Dark. Okay, the I Do Declares. Again, we've got 41 of them, 41 predictions for the season. The valuation points are on the right side. So we'll continue. When people do your I Do Declares with a super chat, we'll mark it down here. We give an evaluation. We'll go through the season. If you get it right, you get the points in the parentheses, or you get minus the points. The winner, the one with the best score through all of their predictions, becomes the I Do Declare World Champion. And you're going to get a trophy. We're going to send you a trophy from societyawards.com. And the money is going to Special Olympics of Minnesota. So, anyways, we're up to 41 predictions. People are having a lot of fun with that. Before we get to anything else, we got to get into our 19th school, possibly 18. I'll have to take a look at it. The Spotlight Series continues. And tonight is none other than your beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers. Starting with quarterback Anthony Colandrea. Transferred from UNLV. Last year was his best year. He had a couple of years at Virginia, went to play with Dan Mullen at UNLV, 3,459 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 65.9 completion percentage, 149.5 quarterback rating, 649 yards rushing, 5.1 average per rush, 10 rushing touchdowns. Holy smokes. 23 touchdown passes, 10 rushing touchdowns. How do I say this? I am willing to be wrong. But I don't think Anthony he might have a decent year, but he ain't going to have this type of year. I watched him at Virginia. Again, at Virginia, ACC football, he was gutsy. He made some plays. He threw some interceptions. His completion percentage was a lot lower playing with Virginia. I think he's going to be all right. Nothing more than all right. Again, Nebraska's had these type of quarterbacks, and they have not been able to get them wins in Big Ten football play. So again, I'm not a believer that this guy is going to be able to move Nebraska to a higher level. Now, Hoosier Dave says their O-line has to be better than last year, and it probably will be. Remember, they had that offensive line the last 3 years. Same dudes, basically, and they just were not very good. They were just not very good. Bimba 75-79. Greg, did you miss logging my Winningham wins Big Ten Coach of the Year? I do declare. I will make sure that gets booked in. Sorry about that, Bimba. Okay, I will make sure that gets booked in. I have to go through my notes, but I do remember you putting that. Let me. I'll check that out. I'll make sure that's in, Bimba. Thank you, sir. TJ Lateef, quarterback. He played a little bit last year. Dylan Raiola went out with an injury. 904 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 60.2% completion percentage, 133.7 quarterback rating. He had his moments, especially the first game in some quarters after that. Kind of struggled at the end. Again, Nebraska went and got Anthony Colandrea. So that should tell you what they think about TJ Lateef being ready. Nebraska, by the way, before they went and got Anthony Colandrea, they had Kenny Minchey all lined up. Kenny Minchey, the transfer from Notre Dame, actually committed to Nebraska, but he had not signed the paperwork. Nebraska thought they had Kenny Minchey, and I went on X and said, what an incredible get for Nebraska football to get Kenny Minchey out of the portal. This is fantastic for Nebraska. Then the very next day, bam, Kenny Minchey decommits and then signs with the Kentucky Wildcats. And we've already done the spotlight on the Kentucky Wildcats. They're going to struggle this year, but Kenny Minchey is a dude, and I think Nebraska would have been a lot better off, but they weren't able to get him signed. So, Anthony Colandrea, TJ Lateef, the quarterbacks. Running back, Mekhi Nelson. You saw a little bit of him last year. This guy's got some juice. 147 yards rushing, 5.4 average per rush. This year is his come out party, I believe, from Mekhi Nelson. He's got a little bit of speed. He's definitely has some juice. The wide receivers for Nebraska to help out Anthony Colandrea and TJ Lateef, they've got some experience now. You've got Mr. Hunter, 43 receptions, 617 yards, 14.3 average, 5 receiving touchdowns. I kind of do like the Hunter and Ja'Cory Barney duo. Barney, 45 receptions, 484 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. Barney was your first down type of receiver. Hunter was your third down type of receiver. I kind of do like that duo. I kind of do like that duo for Nebraska Cornhuskers. And then Ja'Cory Barney does some service in the return game. Now, here's a problem that Nebraska did not have last year. This year's football schedule is a doozy. Is an absolute doozy. In fact, today it came out, Phil Steele, if you all know Phil Steele magazine, if you follow him on X, he came out with the schools with the hardest schedules in the country, and Nebraska, I believe, was at number 4. The 4th most difficult football schedule in the country. Now, it doesn't start out that way. Again, Ohio Bobcats, though, decent MAC school. The Ohio Bobcats, look out. Bowling Green, North Dakota. That's not North Dakota State. That's North Dakota. Then at Michigan State. They begin the Big Ten season at East Lansing. Then at home against Maryland. And then, holy smokes, at home against Indiana. on the road to Oregon. Then they get a bye week. Then Washington, at Illinois, Rutgers, Ohio State, and Iowa. Iowa, which they've been losing to consistently. Buckeyes at home. Washington at home. Indiana at home. Nebraska's going to have a lot of big-time home games. But they're playing the best of the best. And I got to tell you something. The spotlight being put on Nebraska Cornhuskers. The truth of the matter is Matt Rule is under a lot of pressure. If Nebraska goes 5-7 or 4-8, Nebraska's going to have to seriously consider paying that $63.3 million buyout for Matt Rule. They cannot afford to keep losing like this. 9 straight seasons Nebraska has finished under 500 in the Big Ten Conference. 9 straight seasons. This year could be the full decade. They've got to win, baby. They've got to finish 5-4. They've got to finish 5-4. And I don't know how they do that with the schedule they have. They've got the 4th hardest schedule in the nation. They lost Dylan Raiola. They lost the great Emmett Johnson. And they're replacing that with an Anthony Calandria that was a below average quarterback at Virginia. Very good quarterback in the Mountain West with UNLV. And they're replacing Emmett Johnson. Mekhi Nelson has some juice. But I don't know, guys. I think Nebraska is going to be in for a very difficult year. And I think there's going to be a lot of drama at Lincoln. Because, again, another program that invests a lot of money every single year and the return hasn't been there. And the fan base, the incredible fan base of Nebraska, incredible fan base is getting restless at Lincoln. High drama at Nebraska is my prediction for the 2026 season. And again, for those who missed it, I've got the Nebraska Cornhuskers finishing 14th in the Big Ten. 14th. And I'm probably not going to change that. Probably not going to change that. All right. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. I was a little bit too optimistic about Nebraska last year and the year before. Am I being too pessimistic about Nebraska in 2026? Let's get to the survey. Let's get to the survey. But before we do that, I do want to thank Bimba7579 for being a member for 9 months. Thank you, sir. I will go check. I will make sure that is logged in. I do apologize if I did not get that logged in. Bimba7579, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Survey. Survey says, how do the Big Ten football fans feel right now where readers stand on Petiti, the CFP, and Mohr? We're not going to go through the whole article. In fact, I skip a lot of it. If you want to go read the whole article, go to The Athletic. Scott Dochterman, the author of this brilliant article. Go check it out. We're just going to be going through some of the bullet lines here. The Athletic conducted a reader survey to gauge opinions about the Big Ten, its television arrangement, its 18 football programs, and other major issues facing the conference and the sport after spring football. After nearly 3,600 responses, it is clear, in the wake of the 3 straight CFP titles, fans of the Big Ten teams are feeling bullish about the conference and how it compares with the Southeastern Conference. Most seem to like the football leadership at the favorite school, but are skeptical of the Big Ten commissioner, silent Tony Petiti. Many expressed concerns related to name, image, or likeness money and the nostalgia for the days of smaller conferences. We're going to go through the survey here. Survey says, has the Big Ten surpassed the SEC as the nation's top football conference? 65.2% says yes. Equal with the Southeastern Conference, 26.6%. No, 8.2%. At some point, I realized the Big Ten is no longer the underdog, said Cara, a Penn State. We are a Penn State fan. We are now the bad guy. We have the money. We'll happily drive all of college football off a cliff if it means more money. Cara, Penn State, Big Ten is now the bad guy. 65% says yes, the Big Ten has surpassed the SEC. How confident are you, Big Ten fans, in Big Ten leadership? On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being complete confidence. Number 1, 7.6. No confidence at all. Number 2, 13.1%. Number 3, which is about average, 32.7%. 4, you've got some confidence in the leadership of the Big Ten, 36.6%. And number 5, you've got great confidence. So confidence at 36.6 and 10%. Almost half of the Big Ten fans have confidence in the Big Ten leadership, and about 21% do not have confidence in Big Ten leadership. And then the other 32.7, a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of confident, kind of not confident. The numbers are a little bit lower than what I expected. Survey says, should the Big Ten collectively engage in private equity or another outside revenue source in exchange for some control over future assets? No, 75%. Depends on the fund, 19.5%. Yes, 5.5%. Look, 25% seems to be pretty open about the Big Ten engaging in private equity or another outside revenue source in exchange for some control over future assets. That to me is a little bit high. I did not expect 25% to say, yeah. Very interesting. Again, out of 3,600 responses. Survey says, how do you like the Big Ten's television setup with Fox, CBS, NBC, and its other channels streaming options? On a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being don't like it. 5, I love it. 1, 8.9%. 2, 14.3%. 3, 33.1%. 4, 32.8%. 5, 10.9%. They love it. So again, much like the other survey question, a little bit more positivity than negativity in the Big Ten, but not overwhelming positivity, right? Not overwhelming positivity. You got 22, 23% that do not like it. They do not like this television setup. And then another 33 that is a little bit here, a little bit there, and then 43% says they do like it. More positive than negative, but not overwhelming. I appreciate that many Big Ten games are on the linear television, CBS, NBC, Fox, that I can watch with an antenna, said Matthew, a Washington fan. It is frustrating that many games are behind the cable streaming paywalls, but it seems like the Big Ten has the most available over-the-air out of all the conferences. I love the CBS, NBC, Fox deal for the nationally televised games, but I absolutely hate the streaming, said Jonathan, a beloved Minnesota Golden Gopher, of course a Genius fan. In a world where people are torn in more ways than ever, why are you making it harder to see your product? Survey says, how many teams should compete in the college football playoffs? 16 leads the way, 45.4%. 12-team playoffs, 38.6%. 24-team playoffs, 9%. And then other is 7%. So the 16-team playoffs has the most support among Big Ten fans. Among Big Ten fans. That only means that we at PATC have more work to do. We even have more work to do, but we've got the momentum, baby. We have got the momentum. We are in the lead. Should the Big Ten eliminate its championship game? Survey says only if the other P4s eliminate theirs, 50.9%. Yes, no matter what, eliminate them, 31.3%. No matter what, 17.7%. So, again, the majority, slight majority is like, well, let's see what the other P4s do. Yes, let's eliminate them, 31.3. No, 17.7. Slight majority pretty much is okay with the elimination. With the elimination of the championship game. Survey says, what is your preferred number of Big Ten conference games? 9, 69.3%. 10 or more, 18.6%. 8 conference games, 12%. Again, 9 conference games, way out ahead. But there is more support for the Big Ten to go to 10 conference games than to go to 8 conference games among the Big Ten fans. Then that's pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting indeed. But again, we're going to get into the story here shortly. CFP of 24 has taken the lead. Not in the surveys, not in the polls, not in the heart of your college football fans, but college football playoffs of 24 has taken the lead, I believe, and the momentum is all ours here at the Army of 24. We will get into it in a moment. We've got a $5 holler from Ryan Willie, the Evil Badger. This Evil Badger received some life-changing news yesterday. I'll be taking a break to live my life like I'm dying. All my prayers go out to Evil Badger. If you need to get in touch with me, get a hold of me on my email. I believe you have it. So just let me know. And our prayers go out to you, Evil Badger. We should all be living our lives like we're dying, though, at times, right? But hopefully, Evil Badger, it all works out for you. But get a hold of me, okay? Get a hold of me or let me know how I can get a hold of you. All right, sir? Okay? take a break. Again, you want to listen to our program, turn it on when we're on. But Evil Badger, I want to appreciate everything you've done for this program. I want to thank you for your friendship, and I want to thank you for the connections that you have made throughout the PATC community. Because that's what we're doing. We are connecting with each other, and that builds a certain culture here at PATC. And you have been one of the leaders in building this great culture that we have at PATC. So thank you, Ryan Willie, from the bottom of my heart. Let me know what I can do. Let me know. We're praying for you, sir. We're absolutely praying for you. We've got Jacoba Cat, Super Chat. Jacoba Cat, Super Chat. Big Ten should play 10 conference games. Iowa needs Michigan State and Penn State yearly. Jacoba Cat, you've already got a mess of rivalry games. The Iowa Hawkeyes don't need any more permanent rivals. You've got enough of them. You've got enough of them. Penn State doesn't want to be a permanent rival. Michigan State's got other options, and I think they're going to get more options, but we'll talk about that at another time. Jacoba Cat, thank you for the $2 holler. I very much appreciate it. But the Iowa Hawkeyes do not need any more permanent rivals. You got to focus on the Gophers. You got to focus on the Gophers. All right. Thank you, Jacoba Cat. Appreciate it. All right. The news. The news of today. Coaches are swinging their support behind a remade and expanded college football postseason Ross Dellinger of this afternoon on this beautiful Tuesday, May 5th afternoon. The American Football Coaches Association voted last week to recommend that college leaders implement a playoff with the maximum number of participants. The American Football Coaches Association is now with the Army of 24. The maximum number of participants, discontinue conference championship games, preserve the Army-Navy games exclusive time window, but hold the other games on that day and the end of the playoff by the second week of January. Holy smokes. They're talking to my heart. The American Football Coaches Association, the AFCA, is talking straight to my heart in their annual meeting. The AFCA's Board of Trustees discussed and adopted the recommendations. The AFCA Executive Director Craig Bold, remember Craig Bold, North Dakota State, Wyoming, told Yahoo Sports, the association is expected to publicly release its decision soon, most notable of which is the nod of support for the 2014 playoff and the elimination of the league's title games. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Though the board has no authority, though the board has no authority within the NCAA or the college football playoff governance structure, the group includes prominent coaching figures with influence over decision makers, such as the conference commissioners and the university presidents presiding over the CFP. The AFCA board includes names like Brett Bielema, Brent Venables, SEC, Oklahoma, Clark Lee, Vanderbilt, SEC, Rhett Lashley, SMU, Joy McGuire, Texas Tech, and Pat Fitzgerald, Michigan State. The Coaches Association is the latest group. The latest, but not the only. And it ain't going to be the last one. It ain't going to be the last one. The Coaches Association is the latest group to express support publicly or privately for a significant expansion of the sports postseason event, a divisive topic that has divided the CFP decision makers over the years. The 10 FBS Conference Commissioners and Notre Dame Athletic Directors, members of the CFP Governance Committee, met 2 weeks ago for their latest debate over the next iteration of what is now the 12-team playoff. At the center of those discussions is a 16-team or 24-team model, the former supported by the SEC, the latter by the Big Ten. The two conferences must agree for any format to be adopted. Over the last month, influential leaders on the CFP Governance Committee, such as the Big 12 and ACC Commissioners Brett Yormark and Jim Phillips, as well as Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Bavacqua, have swung their support behind a 24-team field. Yormark, Phillips, Bavacqua. A stark change from a few months ago when the Army of 24, PATC, we were the lonely lamb in the woods, but not anymore. Not anymore. A stark change from a few months ago when much of the committee, aside from the Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, supported a 16-team field. The most discussed 24-team model is an all-at-large field determined through the CFP rankings, with an automatic spot for the group of 6 leagues. So, a 23 plus 1, a 23 plus 1, or a 1 plus 23, but I think everybody's calling it a 23 plus 1. The format adds 1 playoff round in 12 additional games. The top 8 ranked teams would receive a first round bye, while then seeds 9 through 24 play in the first round on campus. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Conference championship games would be eliminated, and the playoff presumably would start immediately after the regular season. A long-discussed shift in the postseason calendar to open a path for the national title game, now played the 3rd week of January, to return the second Monday in the month. To that end, coaches also recommended the regular season should include 1, not 2 bye weeks, and that the minimum number of days between games be 6, moves that they believe will also help shift up the playoff calendar. Oh, this is a beautiful. The Coaches Association. But not everyone is leaping toward a 24-team playoff format. There are hurdles. For instance, the FBS Conference Championship games fetch a $250 million value that must be recouped from an expanded playoff field. CFP media consultants are in the process of delivering a financial valuation of a 24-team field. Estimates range wildly from $300 to $700 million in additional revenue for the 10 games. They're all over the place. CFP commissioners are next scheduled to meet in person in mid-June. The valuation may go a long way in swinging the support of SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and his university presidents, long public proponents of a 16-team playoff that eases the sport into a greater expansion in the future. In fact, the SEC and the Big Ten officials discussed last year moving to a 16-team format for a temporary stretch, 2 to 3 years, before expanding beyond 16. However, Petiti and the Big Ten members declined the move, leaving the playoff at 12 for 2026. But there are more hurdles aside from the money. The date of the Army-Navy for one of the most watched college football game annually presents a problem. The game is traditionally played in a standalone window on the second Saturday in December before the NFL begins playing on Saturdays, a time slot that each academy and the American Commissioner Tim Panetti has fought to keep. However, the first or second round of the 2014 playoff would be scheduled for that Saturday, presenting two issues. One, Army or Navy's exclusion from the postseason field, and two, difficulty in scheduling playoff games around the game's exclusive 4-hour standalone window, of which the U.S. President Donald Trump ordered to continue as part of an executive order. Finally, that's it. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, possibly the last hurdle to get to the Army of 24, to get to the playoffs of 24, is that valuation that the media consultants are working on. If that comes in at a high number, that could swing the SEC towards the playoff of 24. There is also this other situation that is going on. The Southeastern Conference, I don't think it's going to matter what really the valuation comes in at. They're going to want a minimum to be reached, a benchmark to be reached. They're going to want guarantees, a minimum guarantee to be reached on that money. They're not going to agree to a 2014 playoff without knowing for sure that this minimum number, whatever that is going to be met by media companies bidding on the 10 extra games. Plus, the SEC might want to do something else as well, a possible AQ model. Look, there still are discussions about right now, it's 23 plus 1. That is the 2014 playoff model that we're all talking about. But there are still discussions around AQs. So we've already given you the peek around the corner on that. We've got Jacoba Cat, Super Chat, Jacoba Cat. Greg about to regurgitate that cheeseburger and claim victory. No, I can't. Thank you for the $5 holler. We were wrong. We took the L because I thought that was a fait accompli. And I think I put a date on it of December 1st of 2025, right? So, no. I had to eat the cheeseburger. We were wrong. We took the L. But if it comes to a 2014 playoffs after all of this, that L and that cheeseburger, I can't say it. The cheeseburger was not worth it. It was not worth it. Bob Swanger, there should be no AQs no matter what the number is. No AQs. Sankey needs to have a chat and a sit down with Venables and Charlie Lee. Kenneth Maynard. God be with you, Ryan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Prayers, Ryan. Absolutely. Rod Nix. Absolutely. Old Dad. Absolutely. John Dry. Buckeye Greg. Absolutely. All right, we've got time, I believe. We got time for a couple of phone calls here. 763-260-1333. As you know, on Wednesday is our shorter live programs. We usually come on earlier, but we were not able to do that tonight. This was the earliest I could come on. But we've got time for a few phone calls. Again, I do want to thank Evil Badger, $5 holla. We got a super chat from the legend, PATC legend. Another shot. I'm getting another elbow thrown at me. Greg is so cold that all he's got to do to freeze Minnesota 10,000 puddles is to walk past them. Aren't you a little worried? Evil Badger, Jacoba Cat, and the rest of you? Don't you already feel a swing towards Greg the Gold? There has been some evidence out there that I may not be the re-elected mayor of Loserville City. Did you see what the Timberwolves did last night? Did you see what they did in Game 6 against the Denver Nuggets? Did you see what they did in Game 1 against the Spurs? Did you see Anthony Edwards come back from a hyper-extensive knee and come back after 9 days, play 25 minutes, 18 points? Did you see Wemby, the great San Antonio Spurs basketball player, block how many shots? 12 shots, broke the all-time NBA playoff record, but the Timberwolves would not be denied. They kept going to the rim. They kept going to the rim. They kept going to the rim. They stole Game 1, 104-102 against the Spurs. Don't you see what's going on here? I think 2026 is not going to be just another year of a broken Minnesota heart. And all of that is going to extend to my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Gophers are going to win the Little Brown Jug. The Gophers are going to win the Rosedale the Pig. And the Gophers are going to keep the axe at home. It's all happening, guys. It's guys and gals of the PATC family. It is all happening. The college football playoff of 24. Drake Lindsay, Darius Taylor, PJ Fleck. It's all happening. It's all happening. I know you can feel it. I know you can feel it deep that you want to deny it. You want to deny it, but it's all happening. Greg the Gold, Greg the Gold, Greg the Gold, Greg the Gold, Greg the Gold. It is happening. Although I cannot find my Greg the Gold music. What happened to my great... There it is. There it is. There it is. %, winning percentage against the spread this year. It's a guaranteed lock. USC Trojans getting to the playoffs. Guaranteed lock. Gophers, Axe, Pig, Jug, all in Minnesota. Guaranteed lock. Greg the Gold Redemption Tour 2026. All right. Now that I got that out of my system, we got Stormy Cyclone. Stormy Cyclone is giving me an elbow. Holy smokes. $5 holler. $5 holler. People that work on air conditioners are jealous of the cold Greg brings. We've got Jacoba Cat. Thank you, Stormy Cyclone. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, Evil Badger. Thank you, Ryan Willie. I very much appreciate it. Jacoba Cat, $5 holler. The Iowa Hawkeye. Takes humans 7 years to replace all cells. That cheeseburger long been used into the biological building blocks. That loss will be with Greg until 2032. It might take the average human 7 years to replace all of its cells. But Jacoba Cat, let's be honest, I got more cells than the average dude. So it's probably going to take 8, 9, 10 years before I replace that loss. I replace that cheeseburger. Thank you for the $5 holler, Jacoba Cat. But thank you for giving me hope. I very much appreciate it. Rich Austin knows. He knows. Absolutely. David Kreitzer, sorry about that. But look. When you feel the music, when you feel it in your bones, look, pretty soon here, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. We're gonna look at the lines. There are lines out there for some week 1 football games and week 2 football games. I'll just show them up on the board. I'll give you what I'm thinking. I don't want to give too much away. But again, I see a lot of wins right off the bat. A lot of wins against the spread right off the bat. You'll see. Brain cells are not replaced. The phones are not working. Maybe I got it in a different browser or something. Well, anyways, I got to get going. I do apologize, Expansion Crush. Sorry, Daniel. I apologize, sir. We'll get it working tomorrow. Again, Wednesday shows are shorter than all the other shows that we do. I got to get back on the road. But I do appreciate you all joining us. And again, we did the Nebraska Cornhuskers Spotlight. If you missed it, go back and watch it. Nebraska Cornhuskers, I do not have them making a bowl this year. I do foresee a lot of drama going on in Lincoln, Nebraska. They have got the 4th toughest schedule in the nation. I just don't believe you can replace Dylan Raiola with Anthony Calandria, Emmett Johnson with Makai Nelson, even though I think he has some promise. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. And again, we went through the news this afternoon. Ross Dellinger, the American Coaches Association, is now supporting the 2014 playoffs. They're going to be coming out with some formal announcement later on, but that's great news because there are certain SEC coaches that are on that board. There's Charlie Lee. Look, and Kirby Smart's already come out and said he'd be for it. Josh Heupel's already said he'd be for it. Brent Venables said it, and he's not part of this association. A lot of momentum for the college football playoffs of 24 teams. that at the end of the day, is going to make the regular season, more games in the regular season, more valuable. Yes, I said it. It's all happening. Join us tomorrow. Again, we'll probably be dropping an episode early in the morning. Always keep an eye on episodes. These episodes are for everybody. We'll probably be dropping 496 early in the morning. Live show later on in the day. It's a beautiful May. A lot of things are going to be happening. Buckle up. Brace for impact. Keep your head on a swivel. Until next time. From all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God, family, Golden Gopher.